What's up everybody, my name is Jian, and today I'd like for you to listen to the entirety of this video. While at the beginning it may not seem that it applies to you, I promise that it does. Here we go. I don't care for your Calis Illustrissimo lineage. I've recently been clued into just how deep the division and animosity goes among certain KI clans. I'm fortunate to have never gotten into its politics, although I'm certain my actions and words have displeased one camp or another. I see KI as a whole, not fragmented, and as such I'm able to pick away at its teachings based on universal applicability and alignment with my style and preferences rather than from a dogmatic lens that proposes one line of KI is better than the other. I don't prematurely discount one's teachings based on the opinion of someone else. Such actions would result in a death trap for my own progression. Now, it's a common platitude to say things like, there's something to learn from everyone. And yet folks are willingly subjecting themselves to a purposeful limitation of knowledge. It's kind of stupid, not to mention hypocritical. Now, if there's one constant message I propose in FMA, it's that the practitioner ought to be free and sovereign, that the student holds ultimate accountability for their progression, and that no style, no system, or lineage can save someone from being a shit student. When a student takes accountability for their progress, they tend to seek validation by way of association. A good teacher transcends system constraints and dogma. And so I don't care for your Calis Illustrissimo lineage. I care for the individual teacher who can demonstrably manifest its teachings through words and actions, and that resonate with my journey. If you find yourself trapped by the requirements of one system to reject the other, you're a puppet, and it's time to cut the strings. All right, so what you just heard was something I posted on Facebook. Mostly, people understood exactly what I meant. Now, the following, what you're about to hear, is in response for the people who got offended by it. And it goes something like this. I still don't care for your Calis Illustrissimo lineage. That statement is so seemingly insulting that it blinds the intellect of certain readers and takes their emotions for a ride. I want to take a bit of your time again, not to defend myself, but to defend something much more important than me. And that is the point. Let me take you for a tour. Our first destination is an insult to tradition. Our second destination is an insult to what you love. And our final destination, an insult to who you are. Let's go. So, my not caring for one's lineage does not equate to an insult to tradition. Why should it? Tradition is important. It is a critical lifeline we have to the past. If I ever find myself under the guidance of a Calis Illustrissimo master and I'm requested to do some formal salutation, greeting, or form of communication, a series of movements, I would happily do it. Out of respect for tradition, and more importantly, out of respect for my instructor, I will recite the lines, bow as low as I need, do a series of actions meant to honor ancestors, whatever it may be, in the presence and at the request of my instructor, I will do it. Tradition is not the target here, quite the opposite. Tradition must be defended. If I find myself having dinner with religious individuals who may not share my faith, I will bow my head in silence and show respect for their tradition, even if I do not care for it myself. Now, this takes us to our second destination, which is an insult to what you love. My not caring for what you love does not equate to my disrespecting of what you love. Quite the opposite. I respect that you love something so deeply. Love is the ultimate reason, and it is undeniable. You can show me a technique which I do not believe in, and I can dispute its efficacy all day long, but I cannot ever dispute that you love it, nor the reason why you love it. However, once you demand that I must love it also, this is where we find disagreement. This is an encroachment on my freedom as the sole decider of my journey. You can only show the loving qualities of something, but you can never make me love it. And certainly not by force or by insult. And so if you love your lineage and I do not, please do not take this as an insult, because it clearly isn't. Remember that I can respect something and still not care very much for it. This brings us to the most painful destination of all, an insult to who you are. You see, the Filipino martial arts is a beautiful and diverse collection of traditions, ideas, concepts, and philosophies. And as such, we often find ourselves attaching the totality of our identities to these beautiful things. Look, I am a Filipino. That is what I am. But I'm also a Canadian, and I'm also an artist. I'm also a father. I might even be a bit of a comedian. And the totality of who I am is not attached to any one singular thing. And so when I find myself in the company of people who don't care much about what I might identify with, I don't feel insulted because I am not the thing I sometimes engage in. I go fishing. Some people find that boring. I'm not insulted. I love the Philippines. Some people don't like the heat, humidity, or the food. I don't find that insulting. I love being a father. But there are those who choose the single life, and the idea of having kids might be appalling to them. I am not insulted. And finally, I love the Filipino martial arts. And if others don't, I'm fine with that. I can only express why I love it, but I can never make someone love it also. Certainly not by force, and certainly not by acting indignant at the first sign that someone might not love something that I love. If FMA is all you've got, and if it is entirely who you are, and you've placed every bit of your identity into it, you are in for a lifetime of hurt. Your value will be attached to how well you can do an activity in which time is your greatest enemy, and it has a perfect winning record. Every bit of FMA attached to your identity will suffer a degradation. And if you place the entirety of your self-worth and happiness all in that one basket, you will be miserable. And one need not look very far for examples of regretful folks who found nothing else but FMA to anchor the totality of their identity to. Welcome back. Thanks for taking that tour. Let's end where we started. I still don't care for your Calis Illustrisimo lineage, but I certainly don't disrespect it. Now, if you've paid attention this far, you might conclude that this really has nothing to do with KI, and that these points of discussion and reflection apply to many things in life. So hey, I'd like to thank you for listening to all that. Please do leave me a comment below, and we can talk about it. And if you love FMA like I do, and if you appreciate what I'm doing here, even if we disagree, I'd love for you to consider liking this post and subscribing to this channel as a sign that even if we don't agree, that FMA is worth discussing. Disgusting. Freudian slip. FMA is worth discussing. So again, my name is Paulo Rubio, aka GN. Thank you for joining me here. And if you do like and subscribe, and if we get the opportunity to meet each other in person, I would like to shake your hand and personally thank you for it. Thanks again. I'll see you next time. Peace.